Everybody, guess what? We're live. I'm here with Ellie from Visit Franklin. One of my favorite places to talk about because it's all about travel. And I love to travel. And obviously, this is a hotspot for people to travel to as well. Tell us what it looks like right now.
Well, we've seen better days in our travel,
Yeah.
in our visitor numbers. Right now, I think most of America are staying pretty close to home. And of course, every state has different stay-at-home guidelines. Some have started reopening a bit like we have, and some are still at stay-at-home. So we're not seeing many visitors right now, but that's okay because, we want to make sure we can ease back in while keeping our residents safe and our employees safe before we start inviting the masses back into town.
Right. So you mentioned things reopening. Let's talk quickly about restaurants. Some of those reopened on Monday. Some of them opened on Wednesday. Some of them are opening this weekend. Tell us what your experience have been with local restaurants.
Everybody I've talked to are just so happy to be back open, even if they can only open at 50% capacity, because I would say that if you're a restaurateur, it's in your heart to serve, and not having your doors open to have people come in and grab lunch or breakfast or dinner or whatever that might be is very difficult. Our restaurants have been busy. Everybody's staying within the guidelines that were presented by the governor earlier, or probably late last week. So I think if you go into any of the restaurants in Williamson County, you're going to see the social distancing being observed, the hygiene with wiping down tables, wiping down condiment, sugars and salt and peppers and things like that. But I think people were really ready to get out and just sit down somewhere and have lunch and just get out of their houses a little bit. Yeah.
I know Andy Marshall's one of the first ones to open. It seemed like they had people waiting outside the door to get in.
That's right. We all have our favorites at Puckett's that we're like, I can't wait till they open so I can go get whatever your favorite is. So
yes. I love takeout, but there's something different about being able to sit down, enjoy the environment, and eat it like as soon as it comes to your table.
Yes, absolutely.
Let's talk about the mall is opening today. Actually, I think right now is their opening hour. They adjusted it to like 11 to 7. What other retailers are open? Have you guys been keeping up with that?
We have been. I think it's really important not only for our residents, but for our visitors who may be planning a trip here later in the summer or so forth to just kind of see what our reopening plans have been. So our team have been on the phone calling every restaurant and retail and saying, hey, are you open? Are you opening regular hours or limited hours? We're posting all of that on visitfranklin.com. So if somebody is interested in learning what's open, what's closed, or what their limited hours are, or their days of the week, you can go to visitfranklin.com. We have a COVID-19 page on visitfranklin.com, and you can just click on that page, and we're listing everything on there and what they're doing. We're also listing if people are still doing curbside pickup and to-go. Some restaurant and retailers started doing that because they needed to, because their doors had to be closed.
Right.
So we've asked them, are you still going to do that? And a lot of them still are, because it was actually very successful for them. So you'll get that information on there as well. Some of our residents, and I'll tell you, I'm included. I have asthma, so I'm not real antsy to get back out there quite yet. So, some of our residents that still want to have that dinner out, so to speak, that curbside pickup will still be available.
Right. And so as of right now, have you heard, is it alcohol to go still available, or have they stopped that yet?
That's a great question. I have not heard that they stopped that, but I can definitely find that out. Yeah.
Somebody asked me about
somebody
that.
might just want to ask when they make their order to see if that's still available.
Okay. And then my other question that people keep sending to me is TJ Maxx open in Kirkland? I've been getting, I can't tell you how many messages I've gotten if they are open. I haven't heard yet. Do you know the word yet?
I checked. We have a running spreadsheet with all the, with everybody listed. And I checked it this morning. We don't have an update on those two retailers yet on whether or not they have opened. Yeah. Okay. I would highly just recommend, and as much as we're trying to keep it updated, and I know you all are at the source and everybody's trying to keep up with it. And we all know these are very changing times and they change very quickly. I highly recommend, even if you see it on our website or your website or so forth, check their website and social media, because almost everybody's going to keep their own stuff updated on what their hours are or when they will be opening and so forth.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. I got it out there. Ask your questions. We're
we,
trying to figure it out.
we all have our things that we're like, the minute this opens, that's where I'm going, right?
I know. I'm afraid to see what it's going to look like when it reopens.
That's right.
Let's talk about travel numbers for Williamson County and the Franklin area. You were just telling me that you have those numbers. What, in a normal situation, does travel look like to our area?
So we have our numbers from 2018. We'll get our 2019 numbers later this summer. So in 2018, just to give you an idea of how many people come visit us, and they come in different ways. You know, they might come for leisure travel where they're just with their friends or their family and they want to come down for a long weekend, or they might come because of a sports tournament or a meeting or business travel. But in 2018, we had 1.72 million visitors.
Wow.
And yeah, and let me share a little bit of what that means from a dollar perspective. That created an economic impact for our community of $479 million. And that's kind of a big number. So we were like, I wonder what our visitors spent every day in Williamson County. So if you distill those numbers down, our visitors spent $1.31 million a day in our county.
Wow.
And what that does for us that live here, the best news is because of the money they're spending and the taxes that they're paying when they spend that money, whether it's eating out or dining or shopping or staying in a hotel, each of us pay over $500 less a month or less a year, on our own taxes. So if those visitors aren't here, we're making up for those tax dollars that they're not spending in our community. So yeah, we're excited to invite visitors back for a whole lot of different reasons, especially the economic impact they help us to create. But I want to make sure everybody knows that we want to do it in the safest way possible. First and foremost, it's about our residents and it's about our employees and the people that work with us every day. We want to make sure we're all feeling really good about what we're doing from a hygiene perspective and keeping everybody safe. Before we start saying, hey, everybody from Atlanta, come on in and see us, or from Birmingham, which is some of our biggest markets. So, but whenever we're ready, we'll be inviting them back.
So is the travel season, I know we're kind of just hitting May. Is it typically start in March here in our area?
Yeah. You know, we were really excited because Forbes, they did an article about unique destinations for spring break, and they mentioned Franklin. This happened at the beginning of March. And last year we had a really great spring break season. So that kicked us off in March. So we were so excited about this Forbes article. We're like, this is going to be great. We're going to have another great spring break. And then the virus hit. So if we were in normal circumstances, March would be our kickoff month. Now, a couple of years ago, we had a really nice February and we had a great February numbers. But once we kick off in March, we go all the way through Christmas because we have, usually we have Main Street Festival in April and the weather turns like today, it's just beautiful out. And then we hit summer tourism season and then we roll right into pilgrimage and the fall and Pumpkin Fest. And then we do Christmas. I mean, does anybody do Christmas better than Franklin? I don't think so, right? Like the holidays are just magical.
Yeah.
So, we're missing our visitors. It's as a tourism person, it just breaks my heart to walk down Main Street and see it so empty. But when the timing is right, we'll invite them back.
Yeah, talking about upcoming events, do we know yet if pilgrimage is going to continue? We know that Main Street Festival scheduled for July. Have we heard anything about these other events coming up?
Yeah, I have not heard anything else about Main Street except, it's scheduled in July. I think, Donna, I think this has been one of the things that we've struggled with the most, and we meaning everybody in our community, not just Visit Franklin, is that there's just a lot of unknown out there right now, and so I would just love us to get back to some semblance of what normal was, but I think we need to do it in a gingerly way where we know we're taking the best precautions possible. And I will tell you, I just got breaking news that takeout alcohol sales are still permitted in Governor Lee's newest executive order. So if you're going to do takeout and you want to get a glass of wine with that, you still can do that.
All right. It's Friday. So all those people who asked me, I hope you're listening.
That's right.
So we're talking about travel and the events coming up. Visit Franklin has a new T-shirt. Tell us about that.
We do. And I printed a picture because they're not being printed till we get all the orders in. So I don't have like an actual T-shirt, but we did this. And you can't read that at all, but it says,
no.
yeah, But that's an outline of our county, and we put in the middle in this together. And that was really important for us because I just want to brag about our county for a minute. We truly have been in this together, and all of us have been talking. You know, Donna, we've talked to you and folks at the source, and we've talked to the city and the county, and the whole time, everything's what's the best for the resident? How are we going to keep our residents safe? That has been so top of mind for everybody. And what we've done at Visit Franklin is we've created a 3-phase tourism recovery plan for our leisure travelers. We're working on a separate one for our groups, meetings and conventions and sports tournaments and things like that. But we really need our residents to get out and support the restaurants and the attractions. And you know what? We've all been home for a long time now. Go stay at a hotel overnight. Like, get out of your own house, rediscover your own city, but do it in a safe way. And if you're not comfortable doing it, then maybe just buy a gift card or do some curbside takeout. But we thought in this together was really important because we know that together we are going to make it through this crisis, and together we're going to recover from this crisis. And I think that's really important for all of us. We know from our research that if our tourism facing businesses like our attractions and our retailers and our restaurants and so forth, minimally 50% of their business is visitors. The other 50% is residents. So if you think about that, right now we're not inviting visitors in. So as happy as we are to be back open again, we need our residents to help us support these small businesses that are so vital to our community until we can start inviting those visitors back into town.
Yeah, I totally agree with it. And the Harpeth Hotel is open in downtown Franklin. It's beautiful. If you've not been yet, I know they're open. That's a great place.
Go get a room, spoil yourself a little bit. I think $17.99 is opening tonight. Have a lovely dinner, take a stroll down Main Street.
Yeah.
You know, so it's going to be important for us to support as much as we can. I know that a lot of people have been furloughed or laid off, and a lot of my friends and family have been. So I know the pain in that, but you know, as you can, just get out and, you know, have some fun if you can do that. And the t-shirt, if you're interested in the t-shirt, you can find that on our our Facebook page at Visit Franklin.
When did the orders close for that? That's coming up.
Yeah, they close tonight.
Tonight.
Yeah.
Okay. So we got it in just under the wire here.
You did get it in just under the wire. That's right.
What about, so we've talked about visitors coming to our area. What about those of us who do like to travel? What is your advice? Because I know you're a part of another travel team. Tell us about that.
Every airline has sent out their own guidelines on here's what we're going to do. Like, I think I got one from United Airlines the other day that said they're selling only every other seat. So I just think the best thing you can do is dive into research on wherever it is that you're going and look to see what they're doing on their end. So, you know, check out the airline that you will be, if you're going to fly, check out the airline, see what their guidelines are. If you're flying to, you know, Santa Fe, New Mexico, for instance, get on their website, see what they're doing there, see what their state is doing, because some states are like closed. We're not letting people come in right now until we get this thing under control. So I just think the best thing you can do is do as much research as possible.
Yeah. Well, it's been great to talk. A couple of my favorite things, travel in Franklin, Williamson County, the whole thing, because we all live here. We mentioned real quick, I don't know if you mentioned it, when you're talking about restaurants, City of Brentwood has a new app out if you want to see who's open, because like you said, not everyone has chosen to open yet. They're going to wait until a little bit later. You can go check that out.
Yes, absolutely. And Brentwood, they started it, you know, for Brentwood, of course, because it was the city that created it, which was such a great idea, and very quickly realized, you know what, we need to open this up to all of Williamson County. So if you go to City of Brentwood and find their app, you can click on like a restaurant, let's say at 55 South, and then you can learn about their hours or if they're open or if they're doing curbside, which is such a great tool for all of us.
Yes. Yes. Because like we said, things change hourly.
That's right.
As we all try to keep up.
While we're on this call.
That's right. We had breaking news. That's the first time that's happened. I love it.
Oh, how exciting.
Well, thanks again for joining us on a Friday. I hope you have a great weekend. You guys go check it out. Visit Franklin. You have the whole COVID-19 site that gives us all the updates.
Donna, thank you so much for having me on. It was great to see you.
Yes, I know. I usually see you at least once or twice a week, but
that's right.
Now I get to see you here. All right. Bye, everybody.